Oh.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Oh God, it's a toad, son. It's a toad, dude.
Yeah. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day.
What is going on, the One Cast fans? Welcome to Fishing Fridays with the One Cast. You just have Ben and myself here. Trey is MIA. Trey's actually out for work for the week, so he'll be traveling back from what he's got going on. I think starting tomorrow. So he'll be back with us next week. So you just got Ben and I for tonight. What's going on, buddy? I don't know who it is because it just says Facebook user, and I did not pull up my.
I don't have it. It's not showing.
My Facebook feed. So I think that's probably Brad. Brad, if that's you, I'm glad that I guessed right. If it's not, then I apologize to whoever that is. But we're just hanging out here tonight. We just recorded our episode for next week. Make sure you head to One Cast Fishing. Check out all of their line of snagless jigs, weedless neds, long neck hooks. Use the code TheOneCast, all one word, at checkout to save 10%. And this is our first live since we announced our newest podcast partner, Carolina Waters.
Yes.
Carolina Waters is a performance-based clothing company. And also just your casual apparel. They're based here in North Carolina. They got awesome UPF fishing shirts I've been wearing for a couple years. They've got some super comfortable T-shirts. This is the first time I haven't worn one, of course. And then they've got a bunch of different style hats. So make sure you head to carolinawatersnc.com. For the month of September, they've given us the code a little bit of extra off. So it's 20% off when you use the code TheOneCast, all one word, at checkout. Make sure you run over there, check out some hats, T-shirts, fishing shirts, get some stuff from them. They're an awesome local company. We're going to get them guys in studio one of these days and on the show. So looking forward to having them on board and, doing some advertising and some partnering with them. We're going to do some shows and stuff with them this year when they're around. So you'll see us at the booth, I'm sure, at Raleigh and anywhere else we might have the opportunity to hook up with them. Yeah, Brad said, please do. He'll send it to you with love. So you'll get a Brad autograph. I think that's what I'm getting. He'll autograph every order sheet that uses the code TheOneCast. So you can add that to your autograph collection. But yeah, so Ben and I are just hanging out. We were excited. We just got done talking a little bit about the elite schedule, which was released.
Yep.
Looking forward to that. Especially,
and we could talk about that, but that's gonna.
Yeah, we're not gonna go deep into it. We're not gonna talk deep about Bass Pro tour schedule, other than they're coming to the Chowan local, which I think we talked about.
Yeah, we talked about that
because this released when we had a live, so we did do some. I apologize if the video is a little bit laggy or anything. We are fighting some internet issues. We're working to correct that. Hopefully,
yeah, it'll be probably about a month, 6 weeks or so. We're gonna get some better line stuff there, so we can make it.
We're gonna get a dedicated line just for y'all, so we have one out here for the studio instead of piggybacking with Trey's house internet, which isn't working so great. It's definitely better scheduled than us. Yeah, no Sabine, Ben. Yeah, that'll make Ben happy. They're not going there this year. I'm sure they'll be back next. We've talked about it.
Yeah, we just recorded our episode for on Thursday. And we talked a lot about the schedule, and both of us, like, we're not going to give too much away because we want you guys to listen to the actual episode. But we both really like the schedule. I mean, we like the events. Actually, we like BPTs too. So we're just waiting on the NPFL. They need to drop theirs here soon so we can figure out where they're going.
Yeah, I'm hoping theirs will come out. I know. I think Brad and them talked about it when they were on with us, Brad and Paul. About their schedule. They were kind of waiting to see some things with the elites and BPT and how that went. Yeah, no doubt Thomas Lee, I'm sure, is very happy to be having another tournament there at on Lake Fort. So he'll be back-to-back champ the last two times they fished there. It'll be interesting to see if he can do that I'm excited for that one because of Swindle. He's always performed super well. He dropped the century belt last time, and what was a pretty tough tournament because it wasn't a spawn. It was kind of a post spawn deal last time they were down there. Lee caught a lot of them fish on top water on a lock and bait on a transition point. Swindle caught a lot of his fish on a Carolina rig on a little transition spot. He's the guy that's done well down there. I want to see Gerald raise a blue trophy because the guy works hard. Love or hate him, it's mixed. It seems to be in the community. I think that's one that he'll perform well, and we'll dive deeper into all that whenever we do our season preview.
I forgot what I was going to say. There's something about Fork though. Oh, it's going to be they won't have a weigh-in for that one.
Well, they won't for the slot fish. There's slots the way on the boat, but if it's under or over, then they can bring them to the scale.
They may bring the overs to the scale.
So that's one thing I really like that Bass does when they fish there. They don't count it out because of the slot. Some slot lakes get counted out. What they don't Fork though.
I don't know if they're going to call it Texas Fest this year, but it's usually the Texas Fest, and they actually they weigh on the boat. It's catch weigh release.
Yeah, for those slot fish. Yep, but they do have a 5. They still bring fish to the scales because they did last year. They did.
So I remember if you caught an over, you could bring an over to show off. But like
over and unders, they could bring unders too
if they wanted to.
They only weighed the slot fish which is the majority of the good tournament fish.
Yeah.
I hope Orville's back with me. Yeah, it was good. I'll give you that. I'm gonna jump. I'm just gonna pull my live up for a second. I think. I want to see who commented because somebody says, "How's it going, guys?" It's going good.
It didn't pull up on mine. That's why.
Let me turn my volume down on my phone so y'all don't hear double audio. Nick, what's going on, buddy? I should have known it was you. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting year. We talked about the local events with the Chowan, local event with the Chowan, and excited for that one with BPT. I really didn't have any complaints about either schedule.
No.
What's been humorous to me has been the debate for the last 4 years of every event being a spawn event. And now everybody's mad because every event they're saying that's all just forward facing sonar events now. So can't make people happy for nothing. And bass fishermen, anglers in general, because it's not just bass fishing. And I'm working on getting some crappie guys and some catfish tournament folks in here. And we're going to talk about it because the communities there are just as bad.
It's interesting this year. Like both BPT and like Bassmaster, there's a couple different locations on there they either have never gone to or they haven't been to in like almost 20 years. And that would be like for Bassmaster, that's Smith Lake.
Yeah.
But even though they're going to a lot of similar locations, with the exception of like Champaign and St. Lawrence, they're going at different times of the year, either earlier or later than you would normally see those events. So it should be good. I like it when they have the events, even at the destination lakes, as I like to call them, because that's where they always go. And that's on everyone's bucket list.
Yeah.
But I like seeing it at different times because, most of us who want to travel there, and like I've traveled to some of those lakes before and I want to travel to other ones in the future, but very rarely can you perfectly time it to where they're going to be moving up, right, for that spawn window when usually these events are there, especially early in the year. So seeing 2 Florida events in April for Bassmaster, and then BPT's got one in May. It's gonna be good to see some different techniques and different locations that will play than normal.
Yeah, it's gonna be a different year. You have to watch the episode to get all our thoughts, but or listen, whatever it is that you do, whether you listen or you watch. We go into it a little bit more, and we'll have more episodes. Like I said, once we get MPFL schedule, usually that's probably going to become a tradition because it's how we started off the podcast. But at the beginning of the year, we'll go through everybody's schedule. We'll break down the lakes. We'll break down some previous tournament stuff and a little bit of history and things like that.
If I remember, like our first 5, the first one was like the wrap up of the 2022 season.
Yep.
And then we had the 3
major series, MPFL, BPT, and Elites, and then we did the rules event. The
rules and then GOAT.
And then GOAT was early on too.
Yeah.
That one we don't need to revisit. We all know it's Bill Dance, but that was we might need to do like our modern day GOAT, like over the last 15 years. 20 years. We'll have to have an off-camera conversation because we might all just say KP.
I mean, there's yeah.
Although now you have Wheeler, who's making very impressive run in the BPT. Like, it's hard to compare the two because Kevin did what he did. What I would say is at the height of professional bass fishing in the last, like,
Yeah.
if you want to say decade, like the non-endemic sponsors were there, the television coverage there was with ESPN.
Well, his heyday was during the heyday of all that money.
Yeah. Like he was at the top of the sport when it was really commercialized, I guess is the word to put it. It was getting in front of a lot more people. Hopefully we get there again. As much as all the negative stuff in fishing,
I don't think so. And this is kind of a tangential conversation, but like,
no, it's good.
But the way we look at the way media is just going in general, right? I mean,
lots of rumors. Tim.
I mean, look at like ESPN right now is not on Spectrum for like 12 million customers.
Yep.
And then like Pat McAfee's now on ESPN, and just the way media has changed, and like people watch content so many different ways. Like I don't
speak.
It's great, right, for democratization of like people can find what they want and more people be successful. But
yeah,
there's also that means there's less concentration of money, so you're not going to get those huge sponsorships like there used to be.
And speaking of McAfee, almost made it his first ESPN broadcast without an F-bomb.
Yeah.
It was like the last 5 minutes, and somebody brought it up, like, "Hey, we went through this whole thing without swearing." And he goes, "You're effing right, we did, boys." And it's like, nope, we just did it right there. Yeah. So that was funny. I like Pat. Pat was a local Pittsburgh guy.
I like the disruption, and it's
it's different. It's a no holds barred kind of take. If you're into football, if football's your thing, check out. And I have to double check the name of the podcast, but just look up AQ Shipley. I played high school ball with him. He played since he graduated college in the pros, but he started a podcast with another guy. But he goes on McAfee show too. But he breaks down like from the linemen, and it's really cool perspective on like lineman things. And everybody's always complaining about holding, and like the big debate last night was the false starts and it not getting called.
Oh yeah.
But it's like he talked about it on X today, for Twitter, whatever you want to call it. He talked about it today, like it's been happening forever. It's just you can see it in slow motion, but the human eye's never gonna catch it. Like it's just the way it is. So it's pretty cool to get his perspective on that. And I'm a football fan. What's going on, Larry? Larry's in here. He was a football fan. Grew up playing the
So Larry was out. He was at an academy event in Indiana a couple weeks ago, and Jacob Wheeler was there, and he got a T-shirt autograph for Jacob Wheeler. He says it's for Trey because that's Trey's favorite angler.
Yeah. Trey. He just said in his comment, he said, "Let's get Trey's excited about his Wheeler shirt. He's out there doing extra reps so he can cut the sleeves." You know it, man. Like that's. Yeah, he's super pumped about it. I don't even know if he knows that.
I sent him that picture right away, and he.
You did. That's right.
He was stoked for it.
He was. He's pumped. I saw you got some of those new Rapala soft baits, Larry. Did you raid the old tackle bag while you're out there hanging out with Wheeler?
Dude, he made a video dropping one cast jigs in his boat.
I saw that. Yeah, I saw that. That was good.
I haven't heard anything from Jacob yet, so
we'll have to look. You did get some big orders come in today. Maybe he went out and chucked one around on Gunnersville or something. Hammered a couple big ones and had to get him some.
They'd be great out there with that grass.
Yeah, or he just needed to order some so that Rapala could make a copy and put his name on it. But yeah, no, whatever. However it works out.
Yeah, he used to. He didn't have a jig sponsor because he made a video like last year about.
Yeah, he still technically doesn't have one because Rapala doesn't do that yet.
No,
I mean, they are doing soft baits.
They are doing soft baits now.
So. It may be a matter of time, but it's cool. I mean, I like to see. Rapala's been around forever, and they've always been hard baits. What's going on, Elijah? They've always been
Rapala,
however you say it. They've always been like a one-trick pony, sort of, right? So to see them, I'm guessing some of it's at the behest of their anglers, but like to see them broadening their horizons as a company and bringing some different offerings to the table, it's cool to see some growth, especially with all the negative you hear in the industry right now with certain companies approaching bankruptcy and having financial trouble and things like that.
I mean, there's a lot of pain in the industry right now.
There is. We rode the high of COVID. He dropped select classes off the next day. Yeah, you're gonna have to. I'm gonna have to meet you, Larry. I need a couple of them. Yeah, I need that secret juice. But yeah, so we all everybody in fishing, any company in fishing, rode the COVID wave, right? Like everything was super high. People's sales were through the roof. More and more people were getting involved. Surprisingly, the economy stayed pretty good through COVID, even with a lot of people not working. Like,
Yeah. So like
now it's starting to trickle down. There's a lot of unrest in the economy. People aren't spending money on fishing gear like they were. Like,
we find this interesting. I don't know how many out there are watching, find the inside baseball, but like you can Google Pure Fishing and you can see they've been downgraded debt wise a couple times this summer. And Pure Fishing, they own Berkeley, Abu Garcia. If you go and a lot of places you see their stuff on sale right now, well, there's a reason for that. Is that during COVID, basically what happened, and Pure Fishing was an extreme, is that COVID happened, all the inventory sold out, factories shut down, all the companies were over ordering, right? Everybody was out fishing, so there's a spike in demand. So there's too much inventory. But with Pure Fishing, they bought Plano, and then they bought another big brand for like $200 or $300 million, and they financed that debt. And with interest rates going up and rolling that debt over, let's just say they're in a lot of pain right now.
Yeah,
and they're probably the worst example that we know of in the industry. But look, a lot of folks are going through that, and frankly, like a lot of companies, sales are down across the board just because people are back at work, or they're right because of inflation, people aren't out fishing as much.
Yeah. No, I mean, you nailed it. Like everybody over order, and it was interesting. Go back and listen to our episode when we had Alex Watts from Missile on, and that was part of his job at Missile, was ordering all of that and making sure they didn't over order because of the demand, and trying to predict that, because you don't want to get stuck with you don't want to not have the inventory you need, but you don't want to have an excess of inventory, because that's bought and paid for. And if it's just sitting there, it's not making you any money, you get in trouble. And I think that's what you're seeing with Pure Fishing. There's going to be others to be that.
Yeah,
like,
right.
A lot of companies went out and rode that wave and took chances and did things they might not have done in normal years because it wasn't there.
Yeah, and everyone's been comping to those COVID years, and so that's why.
You can't compare.
I mean, it was so bad. Like, obviously, the snagless jigs was under development during COVID and all, and we had to wait months to get all our hooks.
Yeah, it was a long time,
because obviously with their hooks from the factory, they're special hooks. No one else has hooks like these, so. And we're not ordering in the millions of quantity. But so that's why, we always get bumped when there's a 3 million hook order from Daiwa or somebody, because they're all made in the same factories. All like there's like 3 or 4 major factories for hooks that all the companies use.
Everybody uses them. If you are looking for a way to make some money, just if you're in North Carolina, go buy a lower unit for any 250 Yamaha or Mercury. And first week of June next year, go to the Chowan River in Edenton and be ready to sell them, because somebody's going to tear something up down there when they're running around out there. So if you got a little bit extra cash laying around, there might be a way you can offload. An extra lower unit for one of them motors. But no, all kidding aside, it's going to be interesting to see what happens here over the next 6 months or so, and see where the economy goes, and
I think it's
and where some of these bigger companies end up and all that. So
a year, wow.
I don't know. I'm saying 6 months, but it's gonna be
like I was gonna say that too, and this is like this is going way out of fishing, but it is important in the industry. Like, inflation's not coming down like it would. Like, I could see 18 months to 2 years before all this shakes out.
What's up, Heavy J? Hope you're doing good, bud.
Hopefully it doesn't take that long, but
yeah, I'm hoping not. I mean, for us too, like, we're gonna get to a point where we as a podcast want to order apparel and stuff or more, and you as the jig man, like owning the tab company, like when it comes time to need to order hooks and stuff and lead and everything that you need, like those prices are going to keep going up, and that gets passed down to they're all being monopolized. Yeah, to a point, Elijah, you're right. Like, the big names are all kind of starting to fall into.
But we're not monopolized.
We're not. No, we are not. We are never. I'm not going to say never. but we don't have any plans to be part of any monopolies.
It'll
But
be a long time.
it is getting to that point. Like it's getting to the point where bigger.
So this is the other thing with the industry is that there's a lot of like trading companies, holding companies come in. So that's like with Pure Fishing. They owned all those brands, but there's actually a parent company to Pure Fishing, and they have been sold multiple times.
Well, there's the one that owns Luz and Spro and all them too, and I can't think.
Yeah,
of
and
that holding company.
GSM just bought the D&J Soft Plastics down in Alabama, who does big bites and a lot of companies, right? They pour for a lot of big companies and small companies too. But they're owned by a parent company. So like all these it's private equity, right? Have bought all these, and like they're super leveraged. So what is likely to happen if this debt and interest rates continue is that the private equity is going to sell all these off for pennies on the dollar.
Yeah.
Right. To cut their losses.
Pure Fishing is the one that really interests me because they're not in a good way, and to see what happens with them, that's some industry giants that might get shuffled around. Now it's not they're not going anywhere, right? Like those brands aren't going to go away. They're gonna be around.
Like what I could see happening, just so Lucky Craft, right?
Yeah,
Lucky Craft just sold, and like one of my buddies in the industry, another small company, and I won't mention it, but he was in conversations to buy Lucky Craft. Lucky Craft used to have the pointer jerk baits, right? Yep. They got into Walmart real big. I think Rick Klung used to have a Lucky Craft. No, Lucky Strike.
That was Lucky Strike. Yeah, this is the one that Toby Keith bought.
Yeah. So this is Lucky Strike. Sorry, so Lucky Strike is what I'm talking about, right?
I was confused for a minute.
Yeah. You're
I thought that's where you were going. Yeah, it was Lucky Strike.
Lucky Strike, right? And so, but my buddy was looking at it, right, and really at that point, because that Lucky Strike had been so mismanaged, it was pretty much just a brand name, and maybe I don't think they had an inventory and anything. So brand name / some of the contacts for like large retailers.
Yeah.
Which
is worth some money. I mean, having those relationships already established and being able to make those contacts.
Yeah. So, but the price for it on. So Toby Keith bought it. I haven't heard anything about what's happened since with it.
They're kind of rebranded, did some things. He was at I know he was at ICAST and rolled out a bunch of stuff and met people and bringing it back to all American made and all that. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. Hopefully it's successful for him and to see another. I mean, they were around forever.
Yeah.
And then Walmart, when they got in with them, it kind of killed them because they kind of cheapened themselves to be able to meet the demand that Walmart was putting on orders and stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't know the whole story and all that stuff, prior behind that business wise, but Plastisol. I mean,
I haven't looked at the price, but I bet it's crazy.
Components are crazy. Big companies are absorbing the failing ones. Sometimes that's true. Yeah.
Right now, it's a big company that's failing.
Yeah.
Big companies that are failing. So that's why I said it's gonna be interesting with them. Like I said, they're not going anywhere, but they may sell them off in pieces. You may see Abu go somewhere and
they could sell them off in pieces. They could really keep the brands, but really cut down the amount of product and stuff. And right, there's all sorts of business cuts and stuff they can make.
We've talked inside baseball about scaling and things like that, and the NPFL talked about scaling, and at the end of the day, kind of that's what happened with Pure Fishing. Like they saw an opportunity through COVID, they tried to scale into a couple bigger businesses, probably faster than they should have. And I'm going to be honest, like I have friends that work in bigger companies, and we all had the conversations. Like I think short of the recession, I don't know if fishing would have taken the hit it did. Like the numbers that we gained, even if you lost X percent, like you still gained so much that the industry was looking to grow as a whole overall. And then with the way the economy and everything's going, and it's not just fishing, everything's on sale. I mean, stuff vehicles are finally starting to take a hit. And boats, you're starting to see the $5,000-$10,000 off a new boat. Like,
and what is particularly interesting with the COVID thing, and if you look at a lot of the companies that are distressed, I would say, and you look at their sales, a lot of it's like, let's be honest, it's the lower end stuff. A lot of combos, a lot of stuff that you would find in like, I don't know, Walmart places, right? Right. Because what happened with COVID is that, yes, more people got into fishing, but how many of them, right? It's going to be a small percentage became hardcore
Yeah.
tournament driven anglers going out there getting kayaks, boats, getting all the, all the bait casters, rods, all the baits and all. Most people, right, who were trying to get out of the house for COVID, that's not what they were doing.
Yeah.
So,
even the wreck anglers, though, I mean, like that's a big, boat companies. Yeah, Johnny's just buying it. Every boat company can. So he's been doing that for a while now. That's not going to change. Camus will be the next one, and it'll go from there because Earl Bentz has sold everything he's ever built to Johnny Morse.
Good business. Good
Hey,
business.
it's not, man. Build a business up and then sell it for a $1 kajillion and start another one and do it all over again. Any opinions? It's starting to come back, Tim. Yeah, so the used bass boat market's starting to become more realistic. They're still up a little bit just because the demand is still there for used because of the price of new and interest rates. But it's not what it was 6 months ago. You realistically, you're back to being able to spend $15,000 to $20,000 and get a really good boat that's going to run for a long time, that's ready to go fish tournaments and do all that. $10,000 to $15,000 6 months ago was getting you nothing. So
I haven't paid we're not going to see huge movement in the new boat market because there's actually not that many new fiberglass bass boats made every year, like across all brands.
If you guys hear that, we have a frog and or a cricket. We're not sure what it is. It sounds crickety, but it's a different pitch. We cannot find it.
It sounds like cricket.
I think now it sounds really crickety. But
the used boat market will be interesting because you get two competing forces here. Interest rates are so high, so people can't afford it. So you would think prices would go down, but if people can't, buy new ones and all, then that, So I don't.
Yeah, that's why new boat prices you're starting to see $5,000, $7,000, $10,000 off and all that stuff. You can't move them, but it's hard to go buy a new $75,000 boat, even if you have the money at 9% interest. If you can't pay cash, it's kind of unrealistic to finance right now. Before boat rates, because it's a pleasure item or a leisure item, they're always a little bit high.
I looked the other day, like 10 or 12%.
Yeah.
Like we're like good credit.
Even vehicles are crazy. Like I know I got a buddy that's got like an 845 credit score, and he went to buy a new truck, and the best that they could do was like 9%.
Yeah, I mean mortgages are 7.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous right now. So that's gonna.
Yeah, no mortgages are ridiculous because I'm looking at houses.
Yeah, I know.
Freaking.
Speaking of which, I mean, one of our neighbors moving.
They probably want too much.
Yeah, they do. I'm sure
the housing market's wild, man. Like it's like anything. Not as many houses for sale, so the ones that do go for sale are super high. You're going to cut losses and sell off in parts, which could be good for some, but most will cheapen the brand. Yep, you're absolutely right.
I mean, as the owner of One Cast Fishing, like I hope a lot of the big companies are distressed and they have a lot of issues and they're not able to make product. Because selfishly, like I want our brand to be able to step in that place.
Yeah.
So we're bootstrapping it, so we don't have that type of leverage in the industry. So like we're able to do that. So
we were smart too with the snagless jig launch and everything, and over ordered components at a lower price and made jigs and have the lead and everything on hand, so you're able to keep it down for the time being and not have to pass those costs on as quick. And you said shipping even started to come down a little bit, didn't it? I know it was real wild there for a little bit, but is it getting a little bit better, or is it still?
Yeah, I think we got to, because our shipping is automatically calculated upon USPS rates, and I think we saw that a notification that maybe it went down a little bit, but that's all like
one thing for anybody out here listening that buys stuff from small business and you see that shipping, like you can't get upset about that. Any small business doesn't have the power to negotiate rates, and by keeping products more affordable, like here's at the end of the day, when you're paying $17.99 for a jackhammer, like some of that's going to shipping. So they're building those costs into you. When you see free shipping, it's not like they're taking a hit on that shipping. That's just getting passed down to you, either in total cost of the bait or whatever it is. Somehow you're paying for that shipping. It's just a little bit different.
That's
Some of the bigger companies can negotiate rates.
you mentioned the markup on that jackhammer.
I can't talk about it, but it's pretty good.
No, it's amazing.
Oh, it is. I mean, I know exactly what it is. It's absolutely amazing, but I can't talk about it. So, moving on, you are paying that shipping rate even for the free shipping somewhere down the line. If they do another COVID lockdown, it's gonna be even worse than the first time. Yeah, there was some hot and heavy conversation about that a couple weeks ago, but it's kind of died down. So I think we're past where they're gonna try to pull that again.
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna.
But it was pretty hot and heavily spoken about. I thought the frog was a soundbite when we get off topic. No, Larry, there's legit a frog or a cricket somewhere in our studio.
So we heard it right before we filmed our podcast, but it didn't really go. It didn't make any noise. I don't think while we were filming.
No, one time and I said something, but you couldn't really hear it. But that time you could hear it. It might have moved closer. It might be plotting on us. So if we get attacked by a tree frog or something here, we apologize. But yeah, so that's a little bit inside baseball. We're going to get some folks on to talk about some different topics. We want to get somebody from a boat manufacturer to kind of talk about, boats. And actually, if you want to understand a little bit more about why boats are so expensive, the owner of Gambler, Scott Gones, on his Gambler page just posted a full breakdown of what it costs him to build a boat with or without a motor. And granted, his a little bit high because his is all custom. He doesn't have some of the machines that other ones do, but just some material costs in themselves have gone up significantly, and you're paying for that as a consumer.
And on top of that, because boats are a luxury item, specifically bass boats are such a niche market. There's not a lot of the automation involved because I don't think the cost has probably justified it, because you have to amortize that out over your volume. So that's why there's like fiberglass boats. A lot of them are, they're all hand laid and stuff, and labor is expensive.
Yeah. And that's skilled labor at that. So,
oh, absolutely.
That's even more expensive. You can't just get any Tom, Dick, and Harry off the street to do that one. So, there's a lot more. So we're working, we're having conversations with some different folks around the industry that do different things that are willing to talk about some of that stuff and bring it to y'all, because I think it's important for us to understand where our money goes and why things are priced the way they are and things like that. Now, there's some big companies and bigger corporations that are going to overinflate their prices. Call it corporate greed, whatever you want to. There's some of that built in, but if you can charge that and people pay it, I don't have that's free market capitalism at its finest. Like,
people
if you want to buy it, buy it. If you don't, find a cheaper version and buy that. So it's interesting. We're debating. I'm probably going to throw a poll up in the Facebook group maybe this week and just see who would be interested in having those types of conversations and hearing from folks like that, because personally, I like talking about it, but when we have a conversation as a group about it, I'm like, I don't know how it would translate to the listeners, which ultimately, as much as we like something, we want to make sure it's something that entertains y'all and you want to hear about too. So we'll put a poll up in a couple places and talk about that. But Fish a Local 20-man club. This is Tim Trini. 10 boaters, 10 non-boaters, had a blast, got married, had 3 kids, stopped fishing, coached football, baseball, and basketball. Now I only have one left in school. I want to go grab another boat, but the cost of used boats and technology changes are crazy. Hope the prices come down in the spring. Yeah, they're going to come down now through winter if they're going to come down. Spring, they'll shoot back up because folks are going to be buying. Inflation in the used market is what it is. It's a lot better than it was, but it's still not good, man.
It's.
I don't envy. The one thing I can say to Tim is be willing to travel, and you can find them, because I see deals out there every day, and I'm like, man, if I had an extra 10 grand or 15 or 20 is usually about, if I'm going to pay cash, what I would spend, because that's what I feel like I could not lose my butt on. So a lot of times I look like, if I have a newer boat that I bought before COVID that like sometimes I'm like, maybe I should just sell that and buy a used boat and not have to deal with the payments and all that. Not the payments are bad, but it's almost paid off. But either way, it's like 15K. Yeah, like if you have 15 or 20, you can find a really good boat, but you have to be willing to look to travel, and you got to stay on top of like all the bass boat sale resources, the Facebook groups and all of that, because when those good deals pop up, there's a ton of guys like you, Tim, that are getting back into it, and there's a lot of folks that are looking for those deals. So when they pop up, they just don't last. And I'll keep my eyes open, man. I think you added me as a friend on Facebook or whatever. If I see one, I'll tag you in it. Because I'm fortunate in my job to get some downtime where I could scroll through the socials while we're waiting on materials or something. And if I see one, I'll tag you in it for sure. That way you can maybe find one. But if you're willing to travel, willing to make a trip, like I said, those deals are out there. New right now is insane. Like there's a few companies that have decent prices still, and you can get a deal. But I would not be wanting to buy a new boat right now unless I was independently wealthy and sitting on a stack of cash that I could just go write a check for one. Because like Ben was saying, 10 to 12% interest on an $80,000. I mean, sure, you can finance it for 20 years, but
that is right. You have a long boat loan.
yeah, you can take a boat loan. I think the longest you can get is 30. If it's over $85,000 or over 90,000, you get a 30-year loan on a boat. So
that's a mortgage.
I mean, yeah, you can make a mortgage payment if you want.
Be living on the boat.
Yeah. Better get one that has big rod lockers in case it rains. That way you'll have somewhere to hide or a good cover. But yeah, we're a little off topic tonight, but it's interesting stuff going on. It's something that they don't make them like they used to. Yeah, they definitely don't make them like they used to. Some companies still make a good boat, but not all. Some of them are getting better. I think we'll see even the boats that have a not so great name, or are the pros paying for their boats, or are they loaned to them for the year? It depends on the company, Tim. At the end of the day, nobody gives no boat companies give a boat anymore. They get to purchase them at a discount, but they still have to purchase them. Now, some boat companies will let you use it for the year, and then you have to sell it, or they expect their money by X day. Like that's what's on the contract. So you either sell it or you keep it and pay that. Some companies have pro deals where they do provide you a boat for a year, no payments, no anything. Then the cost, so you have a whole year to try to sell it. Some of them expect you to start paying for it right away. It just depends on the company. It depends on the pro.
Yeah.
It depends on who you are. And what we've talked about it. If you listen to any of our episodes, either with business owners, we just talked about a couple episodes ago with Todd. We talked about it with Trent when we talked about sonar pros. Right. Like it all depends on what that person can bring to the company. So if by giving, say, Falcon Bass Boats, by giving me a boat, if I'm somebody and I can sell 10 boats for you, they're probably not worried about the cost of whatever it is to provide me that boat. But most of like your Ranger, Skeeter, things like that, they're not getting those. So speaking on Ranger, the reason you saw a lot of guys that ran Rangers for a lot of years and left them and went to other companies was because Ranger changed the way their pro deals worked, and they weren't getting boats anymore, and it really wasn't favorable to them on how it was set up. A lot of these guys just have a revolving boat loan, and they buy their boat at the discounted price. They run it for the year, they sell it, they order their new one, and they just have another loan for that same amount. So they're constantly having that $80,000, debt on their credit report. And that's the nature, or that's the, kind of the downside of fishing. We've talked with guys that do it for a living, and they talk about, the debt that you rack up in fishing. And it's just kind of one of those things. Like you said, that's the business. Like you got to have the new boat. You want to have dependable stuff. Your sponsors want you to have all the latest and greatest. It's the same with electronics. Like, there's next to no pro out there that is getting their electronics for free. Even the ones that are sponsored by a specific electronics company are getting them. They're getting a discount. I mean, they're getting a good discount, but they're still not getting those for free. So if I have Well, now you're seeing almost everybody's running 5 grafts on their boat. Like if I have 5 grafts, which normally would be, let's just for lack of a better term, 20 grand, and my pro deal gives me 50%, I'm still shelling $10,000 of my own money out of my pocket to put those grafts on my boat.
Business expense.
It's a business expense. Yeah, now there's write-offs and there's benefits. You're absolutely right. Like the way it works. And if that's something everybody's interested in the business of being an angler, we got plenty of folks that we can get to come on and talk about it and kind of how it works and how you can use some of those situations to your advantage. Timmy Hortland is retiring. I don't know. This will be the second time. Didn't he retire 2 years ago and then he came back? And
yeah, I don't know about Timmy.
Timmy's a weird bird.
It's like one of those things. He was at the Raleigh show a couple years ago or last year, and I thought MLF had an event that weekend. So I'm like,
he was retired, and then he went back. This year he came back and fished. Now I think he may be retiring for good. Timmy had a career, man. He had one of the most epic wins I've ever seen, where he was so far ahead on the last day that he went to the dock and ordered pizza and sat in his boat and ate pizza at the dock waiting for weigh-in. That's something that he did. He had a long career, man. Anybody that has a long career fishing at a high level has earned that. You know what I mean? Like none of them folks have been given anything. You've got to be able to go out and catch them year after year, event after event to maintain points and be able to stay at that level and to keep sponsors and do all that. Timmy's done that. He made a great career for himself. He's super active at shows. So if you're at one and Profound is his bait company, he still does stuff for his other sponsors like tank demos and stuff. He will be concerned about his lodge. Yeah, he's got that big lodge, hunting deal, fishing. I don't know if he's doing fishing. I know he's doing hunting. He started a few years back, which I looked at because I know somebody that went and hunted there, and I was like, they talked about how great it was, and it better be. It is not built for the average outdoorsman. Yeah. They have a specific clientele, and I don't knock folks that do that. Like he had a vision for his company. He's gone out there and created it. Wish him all the best. He had a great career. I was never a huge Timmy Horton fan. He was just a guy. It's not that I didn't like him, just wasn't somebody who
he had a good career
who I was drawn to. But I will say,
if he's retiring, I haven't seen.
Yeah, I'll have to look and see. I knew he was talking about it, Tim, but I didn't see if he had officially announced it. Again, he's not a guy that I didn't like or did like, but I loved the fact that he sat at a dock and ate pizza one time because he knew he had the tournament won. And went out there and did it. I will give some advice. Don't ever do that.
That's my dream.
I know a guy that thought he had won and went back and ate lunch and took a nap and then ended up losing that tournament. So I would never do it. Like, even if I had 40 pounds, I'd be like, if I won 40 pounds, if I have 40 pounds, these guys I'm fishing against probably got 50.
No. If I've always thought if I went out in Jordan on a summer tournament, and I got like 32 pounds.
Oh, that's a little different. Summer tournament on Jordan, that's pretty
in the morning. And I'm fishing with my club and stuff. PBC is different, but if I'm with my club or
if you're club, you're probably like 18 pounds.
Yeah. But if I went out there and actually hammered them, I just pull up on the bank in the shade, have that live well run,
drink some cold water,
make sure I'm in a good place with phone service, watch some YouTube, and
yeah.
Film some videos. I don't know, but
no, I mean, I hear what you're saying but I just loved it, man. Like he called the tournament director and was like, I got another 18 pounds. He already had like an 18-pound lead. He knew there was no way. Do you guys know Rick? It's amazing. It still competes. Where else been? I mean, we talked to Rick at shows and stuff. Ben is from his part of Missouri and has talked to him more than any of us probably. I don't know to say that he's a friend or anything, but it's hard to take anything away from what Rick's done. He announced he's fishing again, so he's going to legend into the elites. And what's this 50th year?
Next will be his 50th year.
Yeah, I don't know how he does it, Tim. I don't know how he at his age continues to.
He loves ball.
To do it, man.
Loves ball.
You got to.
He loves it.
You got to something, man, because it's not a money thing. Like he's one of those guys that set himself up early in his career and did some stuff to make sure that he had money. It's really interesting when he talked about, was it Champlain? How that when he broke his back there, it almost he considered quitting then.
Water, yeah.
Like absolutely considered being done with fishing because
that's right. He rides on that little.
That's why he sits on the boat bumpers.
Yeah,
he puts them under because of how rough those rods are.
Yeah,
can't remember if that was Champlain or Saint Laurent. It was Champlain. Champlain gets super nasty when it gets going. But yeah, Rick, man, that dude's an absolute animal, and a super nice guy. He's very soft spoken.
Mm-hmm.
You got to get up in his face to talk to him. But we're hoping to maybe one day get him on the show to talk about fishing. We have some contacts, and
yeah, I need to message him.
We're gonna try to work that, get him to come on because he's lived it through everything. And when he did his forward facing sonar video and talked about it, man, we talked just about being a professional, not trying to start anything. Like he's been through the technology changes.
Well, he's the guy,
all of that stuff. So
I mean, he's an OG. Like he's the guy who used to go with. They're all dead fish at weigh in. There's no
yeah. You got bonus points if you can bring a fish back alive.
7 fish limits.
Yep.
You know, he's gone through all the technology changes, right? From flashers to
paper graphs,
2D, all right, side imaging, down imaging, all the way through. So like he's like, well, it's always been changing. So
yeah, and he's just like, it's time for the next generation to do their thing, and that's what we're seeing. So, yeah, it's cool, man. Rick is Rick's a freak of nature to be able to do it at that level for that long and still do it at his age and not. He's definitely slowed down the last couple of years. He didn't slow down for a long time, but I've really noticed it watching him. You know, it's starting to catch up a little bit, but he's out there doing it.
Yeah. So last year he requalified without legend status because you can drop a year.
Yep.
This year I think he's gonna have to use legend status.
Yeah, he's gonna have to legend. No, was it last year? Yeah. So last year was bad, and then obviously this previous year wasn't.
Yeah, it's one of those things like he'll have a couple events now, maybe in 20s or 30s, and then
he's still out there doing it though, man. Still doing something he loves. Still meeting fans and certainly is somebody that everybody knows.
I hope he wins the St. John's again.
Yeah, I wonder if this will be. I wonder if 50 years he'll call it.
Whenever his hands stop shaking.
50 years, man. That's a long time to be doing it. Like, I don't know. It's kind of like you set those goals in your mind. Like, I want to do this, and then you get there, and it's like, what's next? You wonder if I can do it for 50 years, then I know I've had my run. I don't know. It'll be interesting, but I'm glad he's going to be back for another year. I'm gonna marshal an event, so be cool if I could run around with Rick, just to spend time with a guy like that.
I know you're gonna marshal.
I don't want to talk about it. You're probably right. You're probably 100% right.
I'm gonna call somebody and pull some strings.
If you know somebody and you can do that, I'll gladly take that ride.
All right, I'll do it. I'll make it. I'll figure it out over the next year.
Just start hitting people up. Yeah. What's up, Cam? Hope you're doing well, bud.
Yeah.
Would he be the only angler in history that has 50 years on tour? I believe so.
Yes.
I don't think anybody's ever gotten close to 50 staying on tour. I mean,
no.
Thinking about the guys he came up with, they're all. Bill Dance left early in his career to do the television thing. All the other guys back then,
Roland
Martin, Jimmy Houston, they all stepped away. Yeah, so
think of it this way: he was a legend. KBD's rookie year.
Yeah,
I mean, KBD looked up to him. He had already won multiple classics.
Yeah,
I think he'd already won back-to-back classics. So, and that was 30 years ago that KVD came on the scene, early 90s, 89, 90.
Good God, man. It's hard to believe it's been 30.
He was already like a legend at that point, one of the best in the game. So that's just how long it's been.
I didn't even think about it that way, dude. Now I feel really old. I remember watching KVD raise the classic trophy in Pittsburgh, and he was like a 10-year-old kid back then. That was 20 years ago. That was 04, right? 06? Somewhere between 2004 and 2006.
I think it was 04.
Yeah, Hank Parker won, what, 2 classics, 3 classics, retired.
Yeah.
Hank retired early. He could have fished more, but he went the show route too, concentrated on TV. Completely kind of, he did it while he fished too, but he stepped away. There's other guys. I mean, Shaw Grigsby, he's been around for a while, but I don't think he's close to 50 years. And he's fishing the Toyotas now. 06 was Pittsburgh. Yeah, thanks. I couldn't remember. I knew it was after I graduated high school, but I couldn't remember how long after. Yeah, Shaw did TV and fish tour, but he's not even close to 50. Timmy was probably 30 years. Yeah, I don't think there's anybody that's even close, honestly.
No one's close.
That hasn't stopped. He hasn't taken a break, right?
No. Yeah, I mean, yeah, obviously someone comes back legend status, but it's been 20 years and it doesn't count. Right?
Yeah, no. Yeah, so no, he's the only one. KVD needs to do a TV show. Yeah, I think if Kevin's actually done tournament fishing, which I don't think he is,
he'll do stuff.
I could see that. I could see that in his future. I really like his educational stuff, and I've noticed more here recently of Kevin explaining things and talking about how he rigs certain baits and does things than I have previously. That maybe I'm just noticing it more than I did before, but I could see Kevin doing that. He's a charismatic guy, right? Like he's good in front of the camera. He's good live if you meet him and talk to him. I could see him doing something like that, especially being as good friends with Zona as he is. Like it wouldn't be hard for him to lean on him and kind of have the infrastructure and stuff already there to roll his own show out. So
he's got any infrastructure.
Oh yeah, he could have whatever he wanted. He's one of the few folks, Tim, that probably I'm not going to say probably, that gets a boat for free, because Kevin Van Dam has probably sold Johnny Morris more stuff than anybody ever. He's been with Johnny forever.
Think about it. Johnny's had Rick,
good night,
and
Rick, Kevin. He's had Bill Dance. He's had everybody that's done it. He's had Roland. He's had Jimmy Houston. They've all been BPS guys.
Who are the new guys? Cody.
You have Cody. Chris Zaldane runs a Nitro, and runs Bass Pro on the side of his boat.
Yeah, he's been around almost 10 years.
More than that, probably. Yeah, you're right. Young guys. So you have Cody. Man, that's a good question. I have to look.
It's interesting because I can't think off the top of my head.
Mm-mm.
Cody makes sense. He's from Ava, like Rick.
I know Cody Huff.
They're off. That's Springfield's back there. That makes sense. But like, I start to think like, because Bass Pro, and they were all exploding during they grew as Bass grew, and those guys blew up, right? So it is interesting as like new guys come on and like
Ott Defoe. That's right. Yeah.
Okay.
Ott's with them. He's still fairly young. He's been around for a while, but he's pretty
young.
It's just if you look at like young studs that are with a specific company, though, the only one that really comes to mind is Academy Sports and Jacob Wheeler. And Academy is expanding now into areas that they've never been, and they have Jacob at the helm as their fishing guy. Like he's the dude. And I always, when I think of Academy, I think Jacob Wheeler, and I always have. Kind of like when I think Bass Pro, if somebody's like on the spot in the street was like, who's a Bass Pro sponsor in fishing, I'm going to say Kevin Van Dam. Like I'm not even going to think about it. And the same would be like Academy. I know Academy has other anglers, but Jacob's the guy that kind of sticks out. But they're really Bass. I don't really. They're gonna find the next one, right? Like they're gonna have somebody. Cody's a hammer.
Well,
like
yeah, I'm just thinking like
they'll start pushing the next generation.
Yeah, but it was a little bit different. Bass Pro was growing back then. It was new. It was they're scooping up all the. It's just a different time. Like,
it was.
There is backlash for Bass Pro because, they It's all.
Well, now with them and Cabela's being one deal.
I mean, with Johnny buying everything and then cutting out guys and shipping down some products and stuff, or outsourcing manufacturing and stuff. I mean, there is
some backlash.
There is people that hold that against them, and I don't know if that runs down to the competitors, but it's just a different time. Like, does Bass Pro? It's an interesting question. Does Bass Pro still hold the oomph over the industry as maybe 20 years ago?
I don't think they do. Personally, I don't. I agree, Cam. They absolutely ruined Cabela's. I don't think they do. I really don't think. You're starting to see the Berkeleys and like the actual manufacturers now hold more of a grip on the industry than the tackle suppliers.
This would make a great podcast topic.
Yeah, we're gonna have to talk about. I don't want to get too into.
Yeah, because some of it's obviously like
I need to do some
Tackle
research
Warehouse
on
and stuff
things
helps
and stuff,
too.
but
yeah,
it does. But like Tackle Warehouse doesn't sponsor anybody, really.
No, I'm just saying like the hold over the industry. Like,
no, I think more of the hold goes to the manufacturers now than it does the suppliers. Because back when Johnny and Bass Pro, I guess we're going to get into it a little bit. We don't have a bunch of time, so we're going to shorten this down. And this is 100% going to be an upcoming episode because this is really interesting. If you think about it, like Bass Pro blew up, and we talked about with Maddie when he was on, when we were all looking at the magazine, and then either stealing mom's credit card and calling the 800 number or filling out the paper with dad and marking it down. Like, so we didn't have that direct line to the manufacturer like we have now. Now, if I'm interested in Berkeley, I don't go to Bass Pro Shops to look at Berkeley's new bait. I just type Berkeley fishing into my web browser, and I go straight to the manufacturer and I get all the information I need.
I buy off another stuff.
Before Bass Pro, that was how we found out about the new stuff. Like,
that's true.
Bass Pro was like Berkeley's new call shad. We're the only ones to have it. Here it is. It's in the Master Fishing Catalog. Remember when the Master Fishing Catalogs used to be hardback? Did you guys ever get the hardback ones?
No, we never had the hardback.
I think you had to spend some coin. We got it one time. We got a hardback one from them and Cabela's. But yeah, now that I think about it, like we're definitely going to talk. This is going to be a good podcast. That's a good topic. I'd like to hear Trey's take on it. But yeah, now that I think about it, like that was how we found out about stuff. Like you either went to the store if you were lucky enough to have one of them when they first came around. The catalog was the Bible. You're absolutely right, Tim. But like,
I hardly ever go to Bass Pro anymore. Now it's
I don't unless I absolutely have to.
Unless I need something like immediately.
Yeah, I don't either.
Like,
if I'm up there.
You know,
always kind of swing through.
Of course, our Bass Pro in Raleigh is not one of the big.
No.
It's not one of the big flagship stores I have. It's,
it's okay.
I guess no, actually, the Cabela's is. If you go over the Garner, I guess that's the same thing.
Well, even they're not like it was because they're Cabela's has so many stores now that they've kind of scaled down the. I will say, if you are ever going through Memphis and have the opportunity to stop at the Bass Pro down there,
I've never been in the one there.
That place is incredible.
Obviously, I've been to one in Springfield, and I've been going there since I was a kid. So, like, I know people go to vacation there, and that used to shock me when years ago.
Oh yeah,
but
they got a hotel and everything in it, man.
Yeah, I mean, and
like a big hotel.
They've got the museum and stuff there too. The museum's actually really cool.
It is.
With all the taxidermy stuff, it was actually pretty cool. So if you're ever there in Springfield, it's definitely worth checking out. Definitely have to check out the big store there, and then there's the outlet stores there too. That's the good one to go to.
Yeah. That is one thing they still have at the bigger stores is what do they call it? The bargain cave or whatever. Like in the Cabela's stuff, you can find some good deals in there. Terry Baker said I go to look at the college chicks. Most anglers shopping online anyways. You're absolutely right, Tim. We have one in Foxborough. I'd rather go to the mom and pop shop. It's wild here in North Carolina where we're at. We have this year on the top 100 bass lakes, we have 5 lakes that are within an hour of where we live. Not a single good mom and pop tackle shop. Literally, you have Bass Pro, which is Bass Pro. Like they have what you need down and dirty, and that's it. Like the old mom and pop shops that used to be around either aren't open anymore. They have stupid hours. They don't have new product. They don't look to get anything new in.
This area right here specifically, Sanford area, has a dearth of tackle options anymore.
Yeah, it's terrible. I buy everything online.
Yeah.
Amazon, Omnia,
I go,
Bait WRX, who's a big sponsor of the MPFL. If y'all are buying tackle online, highly recommend you go check out Baitworks. They're BAITWRX.com. Their shipping is ridiculously fast. Prices are good. Like, I've been buying a lot of my stuff from them because I order it and it's here. Like, I swear I order on Monday and it's at my door on Wednesday and I don't pay anything extra for shipping. The other really good one is that Discount Tackle. They're in like Oregon, so it takes an extra day to get it here. But like literally, if you order in the morning, it'll ship that evening and you'll have it in 2 days. Your jigs and stuff, obviously use One Cast Fishing. Ben gets everything out the next day pretty much.
Yeah.
And you can use the code TheOneCast, all one word, to save 10%.
Yep.
And if you're looking for clothes, CarolinaWatersNC.com. Use the code TheOneCast. They're our newest partner here with the One Cast podcast. Month of September, and offer you 20% off any of your order at CarolinaWatersNC.com. I know they have some stuff out of stock. They're working on restocking, getting all that stuff back up for y'all. The new stuff will be on the website soon. Make sure you check them out, CarolinaWatersNC.com. Use the code TheOneCast, all one word at checkout. Save 20%. We're an hour and 1 minute. I am extremely tired. It was miserably hot all week. I'm ready to go home and kick back and take a nap.
Sounds good.
I think Ben's good. I hope y'all are good. We appreciate everybody joining. We appreciate all the interaction. We'll see y'all next week. Fishing Friday, every Friday, almost 7 p.m. On all the socials. You can find us somewhere. So appreciate y'all. Make sure you check out our sponsors. And make sure you be good to each other and help us continue to grow a culture of anglers helping anglers, one cast at a time.